you've been freed from your obligation upon delivery of the note and proof of delivery of the note. So we took that and we utilized that clause in the bills of exchange that we had proof of delivery of the promissory note, or we didn't call it a promissory note, proof of delivery of the settlement for case XYZ, whatever that case was. So again, you have to be very careful at how you use, what words you use, how you use it, what terminology you use, and so forth, because that's how they keep, I guess, getting away with it. And because people don't know, once again, upon delivering those promissory notes, I never heard from the bank. They accepted the promissory notes, except the one very sketchy email that I got from the head litigator at the big law firm. I'm not going to mention any names just in case they want to do something stupid. So they didn't want any more blowback from the media, because 4 years later, the media started to cotton on there's something rotten in the state of the financial systems in South Africa. And they started to write more positive articles and questioning things. And very interesting. At one stage, I remember right in the beginning when I was in court and we were trying to blow this up. I think this was the first time that I was going to be in court. We did a lot of PR. The Sunday Times put up, like in most countries, they put up these posters on the lampposts and along the streets, right? And they put out a poster that said Standard Bank against the aliens. They were referring to me as the aliens, because I'm the guy that talks about, UFOs and ancient civilizations and Anunnaki and potential aliens, right? I've spoken about aliens in the past. So they obviously had to utilize it and diminish me in any possible way they could. So it was Standard Bank versus the aliens, and they were referring to me, Michael Tellinger, as the alien. And that's the best they could do. It was like their attempt at a low blow below the belt to try and neutralize me or scare me or something, or make me look bad in the eyes of the people. That's obviously what it's all about. Standard Bank versus the aliens, I remember. So by the time I started doing, 4 years later, the media was starting to be on my side, and even the court reporter, the reports on the court cases started to write on a daily or whenever we were in court, report on the case. And believe it or not, that same court reporter contacted me a few months after the court case ended and I had to pay the promissory notes. He contacted me, it was probably 6 months after I did mine, and he thanked me for saving his life and saving his house. He used the same promissory notes that I used, and he was successful. And there were a few others. I probably had about 3 or 4 people over the years that emailed me and said, thank you very much. I used your promissory note idea and I used it successfully and so forth. But I know that there are many, many others that have tried and have not been successful. Let's quickly talk about how we structured that promissory note. You can have a read of it and read the terms and conditions. So the terms and conditions were structured so that the promissory note was a promise to pay off the amount, the bill, right? But promise to pay it off in monthly installments over an insane amount of period, like over 200 years or something, so that we put an amount there that I know I could afford monthly. So the promissory note, anyone can use that same promissory note and put an amount that you believe you can afford. And it is structured in a way that you hereby promise to pay, and you promise to pay it in a sequence of monthly installments. So you can read it in the terms and conditions there. And but you put the onus on the bank to come and pick up the payment from your offices, and you stipulate the address where they have to pick it up on the 7th day of every month. And you'll be paying X amount every month. So in my term, it was like 500 Rand a month, which I could afford very comfortably. And I would pay that off until, I forget the wording now, until the whole thing has been settled, or and so forth. So So that basically says that I'm not promising to pay the whole amount in one lump sum because I don't have that kind of money. See, if you do that, then they can hold you to it and say, well, pay it in one lump sum, and then you can't. So the promissory note has to be structured very carefully so it works for me, but it also puts them in a precarious position because they have to do certain things to neutralize that promissory note. If they don't, then the promissory note stands. And that's exactly how it was structured. But I also give the bank permission to trade or sell the note or sell the bill in the normal way that they trade bills of exchange. They sell bills of exchange and they buy bills and they trade bills and do that all day and sell promissory notes and negotiable instruments. So they could sell this as a negotiable instrument because it's got my signature on it, right? That's all they're looking for. So that bill becomes valuable. The moment I signed it and handed it in, that bill has the value of the total amount on the top. So the bank can then trade it and sell it for the full value. So if they don't come and fetch their money, that means that they've sold it and I'm no longer obliged to continue paying them. And that frees me from the obligation.